Welcome to whofooadventures. This is our last video in our Sedona Vegfest 2020 video series.
This video gives some highlights of the Ask the Chef question and answer panel.
You may have heard of Chef Jason Wyrick. He is a New York Times best-selling author of several cookbooks. My favorite is Vegan Mexico. Jason is also the executive chef of Casa Terra, which is Arizona's first and only fine dining restaurant. It is an entirely vegan menu. Casa Terra was recently named as one of Phoenix's top 100 restaurants. Jason also runs the Vegan Taste, which is the country's longest running vegan meal delivery service. And he delivers not only locally, but across the nation. In 2001, Jason reversed his type 2 diabetes by adopting a plant-based diet, and also learned a lot about compassionate eating along the way. He is currently working with physicians and legislators in Arizona to pass a bill mandating that hospitals provide plant-based options for patients. And now we have Chef Linda Voorhees. Linda is a local chef. She is a Main Street Vegan Academy Master Vegan Lifestyle Coach and Educator, as well as a vegan culinary instructor. Linda founded Veganification, which celebrates the journey of being vegan by providing plant-based culinary instruction, speaker engagements, and coaching to promote self-actualization and sustainability through vegan advocacy and activism. Linda also earned her plant-based nutrition certificate from T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies at Cornell University. We have another famous local chef, Chef Chris Kalinich, of Plant 2 Platter. That is plant2platter.com. Chris works with individuals, groups, and companies to promote positive life change through classes, focusing on evidence-based nutrition curriculum with a practical life application. Right now, Chris is a certified Food for Life instructor with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and she's providing a series of Healthy Basics classes in partnership with Northern Arizona Healthcare in the communities of Cottonwood and Flagstaff. She's demonstrating how to create easy plant-centric meals that will help promote savings not only in your grocery bill, but savings in your medical bills as well. Chef Jody Page. Jody Page is the CCO, Chief Cheese Officer of Virgin Cheese out of Las Vegas. If any of you have tasted this cheese, is amazing. She's been making organic, vegan, artisanal cheeses for 5 years, and you can find them locally at the Chocola Tree, Winery 1912, Tantrum Wines in Cottonwood, and at the Original Jerome Winery. Virgin Cheese has been nominated for Best Vegan Artisanal Cheese in the Country by Veg News Magazine for their 2020 Veggie Awards. And by the way,
the question was tofu, that she likes it fried but would like to go with no added oil. So what's a suggestion? It's a great question. So what I love to do is I press the tofu and get all the liquid out. And the easy way to do it is there's things called tofu press that you can get them on Amazon or most places. And then make a marinade, whatever you like. You know, if you like Thai spices, put that in. You can use water, you can use broth. You know, if you like Italian spices, you can use those. You can change it up just by changing the spices. And hey, if you like it hot, you can add Frank's hot sauce or something like that, right? Marinate it. You can slice it or do it whole, cube it. And then what I like to do, since if you're not using added oil, preheat the air fryer for like 2 minutes. Because what that does is it creates the heat on the grid. So when you put the tofu in, it's going to sear and not stick. Otherwise, you'll just have a sticky mess.
I have a question about ingredients. One of the major ingredients that I find in many vegan recipes is mushrooms. And my husband is allergic to mushrooms, and I really prefer not to poison him. Can any of you recommend a substitute? What can you use when mushroom is a main ingredient? What could you use instead of that?
I think it totally depends on what the dish is. Like if it's something where you're just cooking mushrooms into a soup, I cook tofu or something like that, just something that's hearty, because the mushrooms in there are probably to be hearty. So just find something else that's going to do it that's not a mushroom. You're not going to replace the mushroom flavor with something else because it's pretty unique. If it's something like something where it's integral to the dish, where you're trying to get this sear on the mushroom, and to me, like searing mushrooms creates almost this like meaty bacon-like flavor to it. You can do it a little bit if you have a little bit of like soy sauce or something in order to get that flavor, but as far as the hardiness goes, you're just gonna have to find something else substantial and then try to recreate some of that meaty flavor that the mushrooms give using like something that's got some umami. So that's like the soy sauce, or actually that's probably what I use the most is a soy sauce or like a darker yeast. There's a stock called Edward & Sons. So they make these bouillon cubes, and it's got this beefless, it's like this beefless bouillon cube. It's got that beefy flavor, and it's actually made from this yeast that gives off that flavor. And it's a pretty similar profile to a mushroom. So that's how you can get some of that flavor and some of that hardiness without killing your husband.
I was gonna say red miso, yeah, could help too.
And if you want the bulk that a mushroom would provide, you can marinate some chickpeas and air fry them. You'd get that texture, but then it would also give you some of that umami flavor as well, with like the soy sauce.
I love eating salsas and dips. One of my struggles now is chips and learning to have something healthy. I know I can cut peppers up and all that. I wanted to find something that would give me that satisfaction that chips do. Do you have any recipes for that?
What I like to do is I do a lot of thin roasting or baking at a high temperature, dry heat of thinly sliced potatoes or sweet. I really like sweet potatoes, and I have a quick recipe where I shake them up in a bag or in a bowl with cumin and some other wonderful flavors and a little bit of salt and pepper or whatever, and roast them at a high temperature, and they get crisp. Make sure you flip them over, and then use those for any sort of dips and that kind of thing. And salsas would be great. Jason, do you have something else?
So normally what I did was I would do just like thinly shaved zucchini and yellow squash and just eat dips and salsa with that, which is great. But at some point, which is like a minute into it, I get really sick of eating raw zucchini slices. And so when you asked me, I started thinking what replicates a chip that's still nice and fresh. And you can take something like a radish, not like these small radishes, but like a bigger watermelon radish or something like that, and slice it up, and you get that, you've got the freshness, it's easy, it's healthy, but it also has the crunch of a chip. You can do the same thing with jicama. So any veggie that you see in the store and you're like, oh, that's gonna be nice and crisp as opposed to that squash that I usually use, is gonna actually work better for a chip. And actually I love that potato idea. I'm gonna have to try that at home now.
I love sweet potatoes done in the oven that way. I tend to go around the 400. Everyone's oven's a little different, but yeah, and you can get them crispier by how thinly you slice them. I actually like them more dense than a typical potato chip. So they're almost like, they are kind of like roasted sweet potatoes. They're pretty thick, but then, when you shake them up with a bunch of different spices and then combine them with a dip or something, it escalates the flavor. It's really, really yummy.
Another great thing would be a dehydrator. You can soak the vegetables or marinate them and then put them in a dehydrator. That would give you a nice crispy chip as well. You can slice them thin or thick.
Instead of using processed white sugar, what do you recommend? Honey, agave syrup, maple syrup?
Stevia it takes a little bit to get used to, but it is plant-derived. You can actually grow it and grind it, and it's a leaf, and it's so sugary. In crossing over to use it, I would mix a little, and Trader Joe's has an organic concentrate of stevia oil, and I had to use that and maple syrup together, and then I could just use stevia, because it's very different. But it actually is, not a sugar and 0 calories.
I use a lot of dates. It depends on what you're making, but in baked items and that kind of thing, a lot of times I use dates or soaked dates and make a date paste out of it. Fruits, really high concentrated fruits like bananas that are well ripened, again, baked goods or in oatmeal. I use a lot of fresh, like the whole form of the fruit whenever I can, but there's a lot of dried fruits that you can work with and make pastes out of that add kind of a natural sugar.
All right, so she asked each of us what our favorite vegan food is. I'm like, tacos, duh. I wrote an entire book on it. Honestly, I love tacos because a taco can be really creative, and it's this multi-layered food. You have this corn tortilla, and the tortilla is the soul of the taco. So if you're like doing this store-bought corn tortilla, okay, you've got kind of an insipid taco, but even on top of that, you can put some cool stuff. You can have these great fillings, and you have this salsa that goes on it, and then all these other toppings, and it's this palate that lets you explore things. And then when you go to eat it, it's this really fun, immediate experience. I mean, you can have just like totally ghetto tacos, or totally simple tacos, or these really elevated tacos, but it all comes down to picking that taco up, putting it in your mouth, watching the stuff fall out the other side of the taco, laughing about it, and having fun while you're eating it. So tacos is my answer.
Well, I just love everything vegan. But if I had to choose one thing, I would say mushrooms because they're so versatile. And I love all kinds of mushrooms, and you can do so many things with them.
But I will say Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and sweet potatoes. Anything that I can make with those three things in combination is yummy.
Nachos. No. Just picked fresh, organic stuff I grow. I'm a grower, and more I appreciate fresh and organic food. And then with 4-ingredient Thai peanut sauce on anything. 4 ingredients for Thai peanut sauce. Organic peanut butter, organic coconut cream, red chili pepper flakes, and maple syrup. That's it.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe for more Whofoo content. Until next time, do you Whofoo?